And that is going to tie me into our next point, my good sirs, fellows, madams, and organisms. Don't rob yourself of praise. It's very, very easy, if you're someone who is striving towards things, to put yourself in this bracket where you're almost not human when it comes to expectations and sort of comprehensions, I suppose. You are working in this uncommon bracket of person in which it is the standard procedure for you to just keep going that extra mile, keep doing that extra bit, and sort of we can get ourselves into this state by doing this where we don't warrant ourselves any sort of praise. It's almost as though, why do you deserve praise for doing what you know you should be doing? Well, because I don't have to do it. I'm not forced to do this. The positive acts that I'm carrying out for the benefit of myself is something that I've chosen to do, unless you don't believe in free will. And with that being said, you deserve some praise for that. And it's very easy to starve yourself of sort of good feeling towards what you're doing because you're so focused on the next thing. I have noticed something that I fall into very consistently is I'll sort of set a bracket for something and I'll get stuck in this like... I wrote it here and I was going to try and say it because it sounded nice, but I can't think of it. Sort of this like... this... what would I call it? Sort of the goal is there. Say 40 push-ups is the goal, and that is the benchmark trap. That's what I'm trying to say, where if you said that you were going to do 40 push-ups doesn't actually satisfy the itch. It doesn't actually satiate the desire. If you get 50, then you'll feel good because you think, oh, I said I'd do 40 and I actually did 50, now I feel good. The problem comes when it comes to not providing yourself with praise is you can get into this mindset to such an extent where 44 wouldn't be enough. Because why didn't you do 50? And we provide ourselves with a compliment on the basis of, I feel as though I am good enough to do more than I said I would. But then inadvertently, if you do what you said you would do, that's not enough. And if you do any more, then you can find yourself thinking, well, I only did 4 more. Why didn't I do 6 more? I should have done 6 more. And we can get stuck in this sort of anti-praise mindset where we don't feel as though we warrant praise for our efforts. And this is totally wrong, and I also think it's dangerous because if you don't provide yourself with a fair amount of good feeling for the things that you're doing, then this brain is not necessarily going to keep up with what it is that you are telling it. It's not going to understand that, look, we're delaying this gratification because we know it feels good. It might not get that message the same way if you're not feeling good for doing it. Because think about it. If you're saying to your brain, essentially, to put this in the most layman of terms, if you're saying to your brain, look, we're not going to do that because that doesn't actually feel as good as you think it feels. We're going to do this because this feels very good. But the seed that you're going to plant is not going to be the fruit that you eat today. So we're going to put the seed in, but we're not going to eat the fruit until Tuesday. If you do that, and when Tuesday comes around, you have no sort of good feeling as a result of the fact that you're just striving forward and you're looking at the next goal rather than praising yourself for where you are. If you do that, how much more likely do you think you're going to be to do the negative habits that are easy? Because your brain's going to become all the more enticed to those things. Because it's going to look and it's going to go, well, you tell me that going for a run is going to make me feel better than eating that chocolate cake. But then when you come back from your run, the only thought that I seem to get is, why didn't you run an extra 1 kilometre? I don't get that so much when I eat the cake, so maybe I'll just eat the cake. Maybe I'll tell you to just eat the cake. Should we just eat the cake? That's going to happen far more likely if you don't provide yourself with praise. And I think the sort of consistent theme that I'm going to try and touch on here, and sort of I shall push this point quite strongly for years to come, is self-improvement has a lot of great things within it. It is, in my opinion, I think it's the only route. I think you should improve yourself as much as you can. But you can sort of take it to such an extent where you're not actually even getting the benefits of self-improvement, because you just feel shit. You just feel as though, why didn't I do that? Or I could have done more there, or I messed up again. Be careful with that, because you want to be in this for the long run. And trust me, as someone who's gone through the throes with this, you can be in it for the long run, so long as you set yourself up well. And one of the best ways to set yourself up well is to provide yourself with praise. So I think you get the point. Praise is a good thing. Now, another one. Don't always do the things that you don't want to do but you know are good for you.